So definitely utilize the chat as we're moving through. I have that up in front of me, and I want to make sure answers or questions are answered as we're working on this today. Welcome, Karen and Colleen. Thanks for dropping in there. Yeah. We are going to be recording this so it can go up on our training center. So definitely check that back out in about a week. Diego, who is on here and recording for me, is going to get that all beautiful and ready to be watched on our training center for us. We are going to hang out together for about 30 minutes today. Please use this time for questions, answers. We want to make sure that it is as useful for you as it can be in this time frame. And let's go ahead and get started. All right, so we are going to talk about how to organize your PD in Formative, how to deliver PD both synchronously and asynchronously, and then really importantly, tracking PD data so that you have the information you need as you move forward and make adjustments and continue to plan to support your educators as we move through your either year-long training plan or course-long training plan, whatever you're working with. Right? We don't have a survey at the end, but we'll drop that back in there in just a minute. All right, so let's go ahead and dive in here to our professional learning. So I'm going to drop into my Formative account. And we're going to start with how to organize your PD. So there's a couple different ways you can do this. We have to really think about the purpose of your PD. Are you looking to just deliver information to your teachers? Are you looking to get some kind of practice with your teachers? Do you want them to be able to showcase a particular skill? Do you want them to be reflective on their teaching processes? Really, what is it that you're trying to get your teachers to be successful with during this PD? And so it functions very similarly to the way that we would teach our students, right? And so the connection between using Formative for PD and Formative for instruction becomes very close. So we're going to set this up pretty much the way we would set up a typical lesson. And so we start with a brand new Formative, and then we have a couple of options. When I think about synchronous PD, the first thing that comes to mind for me is being able to move my students or teachers through an assessment or through a lesson at my pace, because I don't want them going ahead. I don't want them worried about what's happening behind me. I want them to really be focused on whatever it is that we are working on in that moment. And so that's really where teacher pace mode comes into play here. I'm going to title this as Formative PD. And I'm going to create here, let's go with an image. And I'm going to just upload a document here to start. Oh, we'll go with this one here for a second. So I've got my image on the left-hand side here, and I'm going to be able to add all of these different question types as we're moving through. So maybe it's a video of a teacher going through a lesson, an example lesson, or maybe it's a video on some additional content with a new platform or new curriculum that you all are putting out or using. That video component can be really powerful as a checkpoint for teachers to be able to get some content before they do some reflection. The free response question here is really going to be super valuable for you as someone that is teaching to adult learners. So we want to make sure that adult learners have a lot of choice in the way in which they respond, but we as PD instructors need to be able to gather responses in one space, so it's easy for us to be able to look at them and aggregate them as we're looking for next steps. And so the free response question I love for a couple different reasons. First reason is because it allows my instructors to be able to respond in any of these ways. So we're making sure we're tying into if they want to speak instead of type, if they want to record a video, upload a document. All of these options are available to my participants in one question. So I've now simplified my job as an instructor and added one question type, but I accommodate multiple needs and requirements for my participants. Okay, so highly encourage the free response question type in this space as well. As you're building out your lesson, I encourage you to, or your PD session, I encourage you to take a look at these content blocks as your slides, as you're pacing throughout your synchronous PD. So in this case, I may want to add a couple more questions that are different in different ways. And maybe this is ending with a file upload response. So maybe my teachers had to go out, they had to go create a file of some kind or a presentation, lesson, whatever, and I want them to add it into the formative so I can keep track of it. This file response is another space for you to really accommodate multiple final product situations with one question type. So this is great if your teachers have put together a slideshow or a presentation or even a different learning activity. This can all be uploaded here in the file response space. Okay. Once you've built out your synchronous PD to be however you like it to be for whatever session you're working on, you're going to come up here to the assign settings. And what you'll do is this is the one and only time you will ever hear me talk about using guest students. Okay. And the reason I talk about using guest students in this one situation is because it's difficult for teachers to participate as students in any other way with Informative. Because we have set up our accounts where teachers and students, or teacher accounts and students accounts cannot be connected to the same email address, we can't have a teacher participate as a student in a different class. Guest students is a way around that. So when I select guest students, you'll see I still have my teacher pace mode option. So I can assign the synchronous PD to my participants and work through it as a class or as a group in a live session, the same way I would work with my students. But I don't have to worry about trying to accommodate for additional accounts or teachers using their personal email addresses. It just keeps it very simple. And then I can assign as I normally would with any of my other assign settings down here. What this does is it will create a live session right away. If I'm not ready to start this right away, I don't have to. I can close this back out, come back to my formative when I'm ready, hit my guest code up here, and that will provide me a direct link. This is the link that you can share with your participants to have them access the formative. So you'll see if I copy this here and I drop it in the chat, all of you will be able to jump into that formative and I can start it here, even though there's no actual questions in there for you. Y'all will get the sense of what that looks like, and I can keep track of student progress in my view responses tab here as well. So you'll see folks have jumped in and we can get started on answering or participating in the questions. All right, so we're going to kind of jump to asynchronous now. So I'm going to stop this so that we don't have any other issues with that. And when we think about asynchronous PD, the piece that I really want to showcase here is the section tool. Okay. Because what this does is when you're creating a course or an asynchronous PD for folks, adding in sections is a really easy way to chunk material for them. And the nice thing about our required option at the bottom of questions, this means that you can't move forward into the next section until you've answered all your required questions. And so you can have a fully completed PD course available for teachers to participate in. And until they complete each section, they cannot move on to an additional section. So it helps them really chunk their learning and chunk their progress. And you can ensure that someone's not going to get all the way to the end, fill out the survey, and call it done without completing all of your other engaging learning activities in a synchronous situation or in an asynchronous situation. The other piece, so let me just show you what this looks like. Let me add a multiple selection question here. Let's say this is, say it is Thursday. And obviously your questions would be far more engaging and thought-provoking than these today. But this will give you the idea of what this could look like. And once I've created my questions and content here for individual sections, I can add as many sections as I'd like into my formative. And then when I go to preview as a student, we'll see here that it is sectioned at the top. So there is a vertical line here separating the sections and how many questions are in each section. It lets me know that it's required to answer these questions, and I cannot click the next button until all of these questions have been answered. And once I've answered them, I can move forward to my next question or my next section. I can move backwards. So this is a great way to really kind of build the capacity with your teachers, adding in content and deepening the level of questioning and application as you move through your session. But they can always go back and access any additional content that you had at the beginning as they're moving through the entire session. How many of you noticed this green dot since you've been on formative recently? Has anybody noticed this when they've assigned different formatives to their students? Okay, this is awesome. So what this is this is a live presence indicator. And this becomes super helpful for your PD because you can know whether teachers have just opened it and then stepped away and closed it out, or if they are opening it and in it and actually working. Because watch what happens when I close out of this formative, even though I haven't submitted it yet. So previously, we would have thought that potentially the student is stuck on question number 2. But because now we have this live indicator, we know that the student actually isn't even in the formative anymore. So they've stepped away from this right now. And so if we're in a synchronous PD session and we may not be in the same space, I can now, as an instructor, understand where my participants may have disengaged with my instruction and with my lesson. And I can use a tactic to pull them back in or try to re-engage them individually, check in with them, see what's going on. So that live indicator can be really helpful as you're delivering PD to make sure that we're keeping our participants engaged and working through at the pace that we need them to work through. Okay. All right, so then tracking data. Tracking data for teachers and for PD can happen in a couple different ways. We have the view responses here. So my suggestion, if you're working on an asynchronous PD, you've assigned it to your teachers as guest students, you can come back in here and check on progress. You can see completion. And if you're marking answers correct versus incorrect, all of that is tracked within the view responses tab. One of the things that we have within the platform already is we actually have the ISTE standards within our platform. So these ISTE education technology and technology standards are already in here, and we have the ones for educators as well. So you can actually tag the ISTE standards to your PD and track those standards as your teachers are moving through. So if you're putting together portfolios for teachers, as they're completing the ISTE certifications or ISTE classes, they can use that file upload and the video response questions to showcase a portfolio of work and of completion, and you can tag it to standards to make it really easy for them to be able to showcase that collective of work as a completion component or as part of a PD session with you all. If there are other state sets of standards that you need for observations or for other professional learning situations, you can add custom standards down here. There is directions on how to do that in this link right here. Okay. And with that, we have about 6 minutes left. And so I am going to come back over here and just really quickly touch on some places where you can find some additional support. And we will then get to the survey piece and any questions that you have. As always, our formative support team is here to help. In your little question mark, there's a contact formative support button there for you. Please utilize that. It is super helpful and you can get your questions answered very quickly if something is not functioning the way it should be. Our training center, where you signed up for this webinar, is a great place to check out any recorded webinars. And little teaser, we are going to be doing some updated self-paced trainings in our training center coming up this summer and for fall specifically. So definitely make sure we're checking back in here. And then our help center has updated articles, FAQ documents, and tips and tricks for you to always get what you need when you need it. And again, we try to keep it as simple as possible when we're looking at our help center. So there's lots of images, GIFs, and our articles are short and sweet and to the point so that you don't have to spend time trying to figure out how to answer your question. You can just go ahead and do it. And with that, I am going to come back over here to our survey and put this back out. So if you don't mind completing this survey for me, I'm going to grab the link here for you for the webinar. What this will do is it will send you a webinar certificate of completion at the end of the month. I am going to be sending those out probably next week. So definitely keep an eye on your email next week after you've completed your survey for this formative or for this webinar. All right, well, that is all I had for you this afternoon, evening, morning, wherever you're joining us from. And I look forward to seeing you all again soon at another webinar, and have a great rest of your day. Thank you.